All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most important, but kind of invisible pieces of tech that powers our entire digital world, the API.
I mean, really think about that for a second. You open up an app on your phone, and somehow it instantly has the latest menu, the right opening hours, and even the delivery times from a restaurant it doesn't even own. How in the world do these different apps and systems talk to each other so perfectly? Well, the magic behind that seamless connection is something called an API. And trust me, by the end of this quick explainer, you're going to know exactly what that means, and more importantly, why it is so critical in tech today. Now, to really get this, we're going to use a super simple but really powerful analogy. So, for a minute, forget about code, forget about computers, and just imagine we're ordering food at a restaurant. Okay, so check this out. It all starts with you. You're the client. You look at the menu and decide what you want. That's step one, your request. Then, in step two, the waiter comes over. The waiter is our API. He takes your specific order and carries it to the kitchen. The kitchen, that's the server in step three, does all the hard work, the processing. And finally, step four, the waiter, our API, brings the finished meal right back to you. That's the response. And here is the most important part of this whole idea. You, the customer, you never have to go into the kitchen, right? You don't need to know how the ovens work. You don't talk to the chefs. You don't see any of the chaos back there. The waiter is the intermediary, the middleman, who gives you a simple, standard way to get what you want without exposing all the messy, complex details of the system behind the scenes. That right there is the core job of an API. So now that you have that waiter analogy locked in your head, here's the more official definition. An API, which stands for Application Programming Interface, is basically a set of rules and contracts that lets different software programs talk to each other in a controlled, predictable way. It's the waiter making sure everyone follows the rules of the restaurant. Okay, so let's go a level deeper. How does this talking between applications actually happen? What does one of these API requests really look like under the hood? This table breaks it down perfectly, and it maps right back to our restaurant. So first, you've got the method. That's the action you want to take, like telling the waiter you want to get the menu or post a new order. The endpoint is just the specific address for the request. Think of it like the kitchen's dedicated service window. The request body, well, that's the juicy part, the actual details of your order, like cheeseburger, no onions, extra pickles. And of course, the response is what you get back, your food arriving at the table. But how is that order even written down so the kitchen can understand it? Well, APIs need a common language, and the two most popular ones you're going to hear about are JSON and XML. You don't need to be an expert, just think of them as the standardized notepad the waiter uses to write everything down, making sure the kitchen understands the order perfectly every single time. So we know what they are, we kind of know how they work, but why should you really care? I'll tell you why. Because APIs are, and this is no exaggeration, the engine that runs the entire modern internet. And this next point is absolutely crucial, especially if you ever find yourself in a technical job interview. You gotta know what an API is and what it is not. Look at the table. An API is that middle layer, that gatekeeper. It is not the database itself. It doesn't have the user interface you tap on. Its only job is to be that secure, rule-based messenger between two systems. That's it. And being that gatekeeper gives us three huge benefits. You can see them here on the chart. First, integration. APIs let totally different systems connect and work together. Second, security. Remember, they hide the kitchen, protecting a company's valuable internal systems from the outside world. And third, scalability. This is a big one. It means different teams can build their own separate services, and as long as they all talk to the same API, everything just works. And believe me, this is not just some theory. In the world of cloud computing and DevOps, APIs are literally everything. When an engineer spins up a new server on AWS, they're using an API. When new code gets automatically tested and deployed, that's all being coordinated through APIs. They are the essential glue holding our entire digital infrastructure together. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground, but if you need to boil it all down to one single perfect sentence to remember, maybe for that interview, this next slide is exactly what you need. Here it is. An API is a standardized interface that allows software applications to communicate with each other by exchanging requests and responses without exposing internal implementation details. That last part is the golden nugget. That's the whole "don't go in the kitchen" idea, put into one professional sentence. APIs have already connected our apps, our cloud services, and our data in ways that would have seemed like science fiction just a decade ago. It really makes you wonder, as our world gets even more connected, what incredible new bridges, what new possibilities are going to be built next using these simple but powerful interfaces?